Lads.
Hello and welcome. Here we are again. My name is �𝐚𝐲𝐸𝐿 and this is our end of season fans forum. The 2021 season was about as enjoyable as watching your own mother fall down a flight of concrete stairs whilst you're getting a root canal. But it's over now. That is really the only highlight of the entire season, is that it ended. And we are going to look back on some of what went wrong. But also, because we don't want this to be entirely negative, we're also going to look ahead to hopefully brighter days. This is interactive. If you are joining us live, and we really hope you are, please do share your thoughts in the comments. If you're watching later on YouTube, pop your thoughts in the comments down below. A bit like the London band Olive, I am not alone. Bobby in the background is with us as per usual, handling all the technical bits. He may even reveal himself, so to speak, a little bit later on. His Stig-like face could be seen for the very first time. But also the ant to my deck, the Wallace to my Gromit, the Richard Madeley to my Judy Finnegan, but with more sexual tension, I'd now like to welcome Nick Wiley.
Hey, you double named me. You give my second name away. What's going on?
Go. Your government name has been revealed. How are you doing? You're looking forward to the end of season fans forum?
I can't wait, mate. I love these because it means that we don't have to talk as much.
Yeah, there is that. It's going to be far less of us, far more of you, dear viewer.
Absolutely. So shall we talk a little bit about what's been happening recently, Hal?
Yeah, it's particularly today's news, Nick.
Yeah. Today's news. So we've lost two dear players. We've lost Jags. I'm assuming that's the end of Jags's footballing career.
Oh, I'm not assuming that.
You're not.
No, I'm just. Can I just shock you? I think he's going to pop up at another club, but not necessarily in England.
Okay. What makes you say that?
It's just a hunch. I don't have any inside info on that. I do have some info on one or two things we might talk about later, but that one is just a bit of a guess.
It is a little bit odd that he's not come out and said that he's retiring. So I can see why he's saying that, but 38 years old, he's not played a lot of football this season. So he's going to be a little bit rusty going into next season if somebody is going to take a punt on him. And especially with, I'm sure he's on a lot of money. Bramall Lane, so he's going to have to at least halve it, I would have thought, if not more. So that's Jags. Simon Moore also, our Centurion goalkeeper. He obviously came in, replaced George Long in the League One season, and he was incredible. Such a great goalkeeper, just steadied the ship because we really, really needed him at that point. I think if it wasn't for Simon Moore, I think Shoreham View put something out earlier saying if it wasn't for Simon Moore being in that goal, steadying that ship, we may not have got to the Premier League. You just don't know.
I agree with that. And that save against Sheffield Wednesday as well. Ooh.
Yeah, when he was injured and he was kneeling on his line. What an incredible save, yeah.
Top draw.
And then the last two, one of them, I think we need to really speak about Lundstram because Lundstram did have a very, very good start to the Premier League season with us and scored some really important goals. If it wasn't for Lundstram scoring them early goals, having that early form, we might not have done as well in the Premier League. So, yeah, a lot of people are giving him some stick, but at the same time, I think we've got to look back and think, yeah, he did have a very, very good start to that season, and we did kick on really well with him. But, yeah, he's obviously... I can't see him ever hitting the heights that he did in that season again. But yeah, anyway, we move on. We don't really want to talk too much about Lunny. And finally, someone else that we're not really bothered about talking about that much is Jack Rodwell. No idea why Chris Wilder gave him another contract, but yeah, he's gone. It's fine.
It is odd, particularly as we had an injury crisis at the back. Was he really out injured all season, or was he just out of favour? And if he was out of favour, then really that's crazy because the man's played for England. He's gone for big transfer fees in the past. He clearly had ability. and I doubt he'd have lost all of that ability. So is he just so injury prone that actually he needs to consider retirement?
Who knows? I don't even know how old he is, to be honest, but
he's not old.
Still feels quite young, yeah, to me, because he came through the ranks at Everton really, really young, didn't he? And then he went to City, and he was still really, really young at that point. I think he grew up a little bit, but he was still really young. So we've got another one. Cian Bryan has been offered a new contract, but we don't know if he's accepted it yet. I'm not sure if that's him kind of having a think about what he wants to do, or whether it's kind of just it's only just been put in front of him, so we don't know yet. And finally, Aaron Ramsdale wasn't in the England squad. He was in the provisional squad. Like I said to Hal off stream, I'm not really understanding the whole provisional squad, and then you're not in the full squad. So it's a bit harsh, but at the same time, Rammers did put a tweet out there kind of already saying that he wasn't expecting to get into the squad. So fair play, Rammers. Fair blooming play. So, Hal, shall we get into this?
Yeah, this is going to be mostly about your opinions. When I say your, I mean anyone but Nick and myself. So let's begin our fans forum by welcoming Scarlett Cooper and also Nick Plews. Both of you, look at this. It's like one of those. Actually, I'm not going to say what I was about to say. I'm already self-editing, and Nick knows he can't edit this. So, Nick, let's start with you. We've got two Nicks. That's not going to be confusing at all.
Evening, chaps. You all right?
Great to have you on.
Pleased to be here.
Great to have you both on. Yeah, we'll start with Nick. So, Nick, can you please give us one positive from this season? Please, we need something.
Well, there's not been much, has there? But I think if I was to focus in on something, it would be under the umbrella of probably the youngsters. So I think first team-wise, Bogle pretty much started really well, although he tailed off a bit towards the end. I'm hoping Big Slav's got plans for him next year. And obviously Rammers, dodgy start, but was absolutely superb, probably from December onwards, first team-wise. And then you can't overlook what the under-23s have done, obviously winning their respective division. There's a few of them got into the first team sort of picture. I actually think one of the benefits of being, if there ever is one of being relegated, is the fact we probably will have more of a pathway for some of those better youngsters next year. I know Jebison's had his time, but I think some of the others might actually feature more next season with us being in the Championship rather than being in the Premier League still.
That was definitely more than one positive, but we'll take it. We'll absolutely take it. No, that's fine. That's fine. There've not been too many this season. So, Scarlett, the same question goes to you.
Well, I think Nick's just pretty much said everything that I was going to say. I think it was, I think I was going to say the impact the youth have had on the first team. So, like, Asula, Kieran Gordon, Zach Brunt, Hackford all making it onto the bench, and then obviously Jebison with the goal. Just think it's a good opportunity as we now not obviously getting relegated, but yeah, it's just if next season it's just the same, if they get the same opportunities or not.
Absolutely.
Can I just quickly ask, Scarlett, is there any players that made the bench that you would have liked to have seen get some minutes that didn't?
I'd say Zach Brunn, just because I know a lot, like, what impact he has on the 23s, and I'd like to have seen him in the first team, definitely.
Absolutely, That was mine.
Yeah,
mine too as well. And Scarlett, which will be worse for the club long term, do you think? Losing Chris Wilder or that relegation?
Well, I think if you'd asked me this before getting 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐽, then I think I would have definitely said Wilder, because obviously I think if we made the wrong appointment, it would have taken a lot of years, to get back up. But I do think, because I did used to think that Wilder was the only manager that could bring us back up from the Championship into the Premier League. But now, looking at it, I don't think, obviously, because he's been there for 5 years now, was a change needed. So, like, was it a bit repetitive, the same formation with the players? We're not competitive in the Prem anymore.
I think that's a fair answer, absolutely. Nick, what are your thoughts on that? Which one of those is going to be the one?
I think that could almost be word for word as to what my view on it would be. I think if you'd have asked me this a week ago, without an appointment in place and the potential names that were getting bandied around like Appleton and Heckingbottom, to be fair, although I think he did an extremely good job in the circumstances, and Carl Robinson was doing the rounds as well. I think if you'd asked me a week ago, I'd have said Wilder definitely, because he was the prime candidate if we had got relegated to get us back up. I think, the board have basically gone out and got the best man they possibly could, in my opinion. I don't think there was any better appointment out there, personally. So now I think, probably relegation, because I think, Big Slav will hopefully get us straight back up, in my opinion. Hopefully.
Yeah.
The last appointment I was really excited about was 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐿, so I'm not sure I'm the best guess of character here, but we'll have to see.
Don't worry. I think a lot of us thought that, and other Nick, you said that on our video about 𝐍𝐨𝐫𝐝𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐿, that when we looked at CVs, 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐿, he had one that said, "I can get you promotion." So, not a completely stupid way to think when Adkins was appointed. And Nick, you mentioned Paul Heckingbottom and how he did, given the circumstances. Do you want to take a moment to thank Hecky? We know that members of the club, the board, do watch this channel.
Yeah, I think some of the abuse he got on social media was like massively out of order, in my opinion. He came into the under-23s. He tried management a couple of times and, blatantly sort of not liked it. Came into the 23s. He was sort of thrust into the first team when Wilder left, probably never wanting the job. And in the situation he found himself in, I thought he did pretty well. I actually really enjoyed his press conferences. I thought he spoke extremely well. And, a lot of the under-23 success this year has been down to him. So, yeah, I really like him, and I hope he goes back to the 23s and makes an even better success than this year.
Yeah, absolutely. We touched on 𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐿, and so did you, Scarlett. What do you make of the 𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐿 appointment?
Like what Nick was saying, I think it was the best out of all the names that were getting chucked about. So I don't really think I'd have been very happy with Heckingbottom getting the job, just because of, I don't know, I think with Janet, I can't even say his name. I just think
just call him Big Slav.
Big Slav, right? Yeah, obviously he brought Watford and Fulham up, but I just think that he's the best we could have got, definitely.
Yeah, a bit of a tough question now, though. Who should we sell? And that's the Scarlet, sorry.
Oh, God. Well, so obviously one of the questions about Sander Berge, if selling Sander Berge meant that we could keep the likes of Egan and Ramsdale, I think that would be the best option, just because I think it's unfair to keep him at this level, because obviously he's a much, much better player than the Championship level. So I'd say Berge.
Yeah, I know what you mean. For me, I don't feel like he's shown us enough to warrant someone paying 35 million for him.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely, like you say, got the potential to be much, much better than where he is at the moment. I'd love to see him in the Championship for us, though. That would be absolutely incredible. Yeah. So, yeah, do you expect to see him at Bramall Lane next season then, Sander Berge?
I don't think so. I think that if someone did offer 35 million, I'd snatch the hand off for it, just because obviously, like, he hasn't shown his potential yet, but he has obviously just moved to a brand new country, then got the lockdown, not being able to play, then got injured. But I don't think he'll be there next season. I don't think that.
I think that's really fair points that you've made there on Sander Berge and how he would have had to adapt. Difficult.
Yeah,
so
definitely. He's only
none of us,
lad, isn't he?
Absolutely. Could have imagined what that would have been like at such a young age.
In a foreign country, not knowing people, and then obviously stuck in.
And now he's busy mates with the most handsome man at the club in George Baldock. So it's all worked out in the end. Nick, what players do you think Sheffield United will sell?
It's a tough one, this. I think if you'd have asked me back before the first lockdown, I wouldn't have been happy seeing any of them go, certainly the first 11. I think after last season, there's very few I'd be happy. I wouldn't be that bothered if they went. Rammers has been one due to his end of season form. I think Berge, I'd have to agree with what Scarlett said. I think for the price we'll probably get for him now, whether he's worth it or not on what he's shown is probably a different conversation. But I think for the money we'll get for him, I think he has to be the first one. I could also see Baldock going, personally. I think if you look at what Slav did with, say, Sessegnon, for instance, at Fulham, I could see him trying to turn Bogle into the same sort of player, which means Baldock may be surplus to requirements. And again, he's one of the only ones out of most of them that's come out with any sort of credit whatsoever. The other one probably being Egan and Mcgoldrick, obviously. But Mcgoldrick's not going to go back to the Prem at his age. So, yeah, I think probably Baldock and Berg would be the ones I'd see most likely to leave. But there might be a curveball in there somewhere where we get an offer that we just can't turn down for the money we could reinvest.
I think that's fascinating. I definitely see that happening with Jayden Bogle. Nick and Scarlett, both of you, thank you so much for joining us on our End of Season Fans Forum. We've really enjoyed it.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
See you.
Brilliant. Well, I tell you what, we're always off to a good start with these. It's great to get people on that know what they're talking about, Nick, and we're going to get two more. We know one of them regularly because we're now going to welcome Fans React Statman for the channel, Adam Wilson, and also Tom Glasby. So both of you, first off, Adam, how are you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you. How are yourself?
Yeah, we're great. Good to have you back on. And Tom, we are going to start with you. First of all, welcome to the Sheffield United Way. I love that backdrop.
Oh, my Pete McKees, thank you very much.
You've done a good bit of work, especially for the End of Season Fans Forum. So, Tom, who are your top 3 players of the season?
Top 3 players of the season, Hal, from bronze to gold, would be Gorgeous George, Baldock, number 3, Chris Basham, Silver, number 2, and 𝐍𝐸𝐸𝐸, number 1. I was racking my brains because it was a tough question to answer this. And I think for me, the common trait with all 3 of these players is that they've looked as committed this season when everything's been against them as they did last season. And I've not always seen that in the other players. With Basham and Baldock specifically, they both played about 35 games. They're just quite low for them because they usually have a presence, usually 40 plus type of players. And maybe that's one of the many contributing factors to why we've struggled this season. But for 𝐍𝐸𝐸𝐸's number 1, I mean, what else can you say about 𝐍𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸? He's a legend already. I mean, if he's ever in Sheffield in a pub full of blades, he should never pay for a pint of lager. You can just tell he's enjoying his football. He plays it right way. You can tell he's just enjoying being in the Premier League, playing for Sheffield United. He's a great player. Without him, we just look lost and we look, bereft of ideas. So, yeah, great player, and I think he is a personification of what the Wilder era is all about. Free transfer, heroic performances, chucked in a few goals. Yeah, legend.
Very nicely put. And who's your surprise player of the season, whether it be positive or negative?
Well, I hate to focus on the negative, but I'm going to have to say Ender Stevens. And the reason being for Ender Stevens is because as outstanding as he was up until the pandemic hit, he's also been as disappointing as well. And he's looked a little bit unfit, to be honest with you. The positive, though, to finish on a positive about Ender, I do feel like in the last couple of games against Everton especially was really good. And against Burnley, we've kind of seen the Ender Stevens of old. So maybe he's not done yet.
Maybe he's not done yet. I very much hope you are right. Adam, in your opinion, who was the best signing of the season?
Best signing of the season, not much to choose from, really. It was very light with sort of 6 players that got into the side. And then Koulibaly, who's probably the best of the bunch, who didn't play for the Blades this season. But that's probably been controversial. But Aaron Ramsdale, for me, has proven over the course of the season after a shaky start. We needed a solid goalkeeper to follow Dean Henderson. I think we were spoilt by Dean Henderson, and whoever was going to follow in the footsteps was going to have a very difficult job. And we got off to a poor start. Rammers got off to a poor start by his standards, but over the course of the season, he proved himself to be a really, really good goalkeeper and someone we need to keep hold of. Closely followed by Jayden Bogle. We didn't see Bogle until late December away at Brighton, but he burst onto the scene and shown that he was a really astute signing, definitely one for the future.
I'm glad you just mentioned Bogle, because I think before kind of 2-3 months ago, if you just said Aaron Ramsdale best signing of the season, everyone would have laughed at you and everyone would have been saying Jayden Bogle. But it's just crazy how good Rammers has been in the last couple of months. So on the flip side of that, Adam, worst signing of the season?
There's a few contenders, isn't there? I don't like to focus on the negatives, but Rhian Brewster, for the fee that we paid, has not given us the output that we needed or expected for such a big fee. I mean, to come in for over £20 million and not find the back of the net is somewhat disappointing, to say the very least. Also, Max Lowe, he's not shown much. He had a good 12 minutes until he was concussed on his debut for the Blades, but since then he's not really shown much and was liable for a few goals. I know he's not been in the side at all recently, but yeah, if you're paying over £20 million for a striker and they don't score goals, then it's not very good business, is it?
No, it's not, and we all expected Ryan Brewster to hit the ground running and score those goals. And none of us could possibly, I don't think, have imagined that he still wouldn't have a single goal to his name come the end of the season. And Tom, who were your choices for best and worst signing? Do you agree with what you've heard from Adam?
In terms of best signing, I agree with Adam. It's Aaron Ramsdale. And nail on the head comment is that if we'd have said this 3 months ago, we'd have, we'd probably been sectioned. When he signed, I remember reading that the media reported 18 million fee, and then Wilder contradicting that in an interview, saying it was closer to what we paid for David Brooks. But in either case, he's a saleable asset at the very least. But I think he's got much better. He was also as natural a replacement to Dean Henderson as we could expect, in terms of being a big character, vocal, a bit of a leader, and a good young English goalkeeper. He did have a shaky start, but factor in the fact Jock was injured all season. Egan and Bash were in and out, so his defence line was shot for the course of the year. But I think, since the turn of the new year, it's gotten better and better, and he's made some crucial saves, which unfortunately probably won't get recognised because there aren't goals being defensively this year.
Yeah, you're probably right, but at the same time, obviously, he's got into the provisional England squad, and we've seen a couple of videos on social media where he's been pulling off some great saves in training and stuff, which is always great to see, but also at the same time not great to see because we don't want to lose him, do we? So, Adam, how do you rate the transfer policy in the season overall?
It's a very interesting one because Chris Wilder was backed last summer in the close season, albeit a shorter season, close season than what we used to, but he was given the funds to sign Ryan Brewster. Wages, the Ollie Watkins debate goes on. Would we have paid him the money? Would we have paid him the wages? Look what he's done at Aston Villa compared to Brewster. What's the wage structure at the club? But I don't think we could argue that in the close season last year that he was given the resource to try and bring people in. Now, if we move forward to the January transfer window, it's been very, very difficult to sum this one up, really, because the reports coming out now that Wilder was going. So why would you back a manager that wants to leave? But clearly we had holes, particularly defensively. So I don't know. The policy for the second half of the year was somewhat strange. Had we given up, had we accepted relegation in January after the start that we'd had, and therefore we said, look, we're going to build for the future. We're not going to throw many more millions. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're not getting the gate receipts like we had previously. And we're going to just go for a little bit of financial stability and make do with what you've got for the rest of the season. There's obviously stuff gone off behind the scenes between chairman and Chris Wilder. So it's very difficult to comment on that, but we were crying out for a defender. We were absolutely crying out for one in January, and it just didn't happen. Not even anybody in on loan, which to me seemed very strange because we could have got somebody in to fill the void left by Jack O'Connell.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we needed a bit of creativity as well going forward, didn't we? So both ends of the pitch, really. That shows why we were so bad this season. Tom, I've got a feeling we're going to be talking about this quite a lot in this podcast. But 𝐍𝐸𝐿, what do you make of the appointment?
Encouraged, excited, optimistic. One of my concerns in between Wilder leaving and us appointing 𝐍𝐸𝐿 last week is that history would repeat itself. And what I mean by that is the last time we got relegated from Premier League, we hired Brian Robson for what I believe to be reasons not footballing. And I think it were an uninspired commercial decision. It didn't work. I think even without the benefit of hindsight, it weren't the best appointment at the time. And I was just a bit worried that Sheffield United, they always work in cycles, don't they, historically? And I thought we would be looking at an uninspiring appointment like what we mentioned earlier, Michael Appleton, Carl Robinson, or maybe even Heckingbottom. But yeah, we've got 𝐿𝐚𝐷𝐿𝐼, and I think that's great. I mean, we all remember the outstanding game at Bramall Lane 4-5, and Fulham were great that game. I mean, that season I only recall Fulham and Wolves outclassing us, and they looked a great team. I think the one thing we need to temper with that, though, is that he hasn't got as strong as a squad with Sheffield United as he did with Fulham in 2018. So I think we need to kind of temper his expectations, give him probably at least a year, which I think the owners we have are quite calm, and I think they will. He needs to clear the decks a little bit. He needs to work with the current players, and he needs to bring his own players in. If you just read the fans forum sections from Watford and Fulham, even the most hard-worn, battle-worn Sheffield United fan can feel a little bit of optimism about 𝐿𝐚𝐷𝐿𝐼. So yeah, I truly believe we've got the best possible candidate available, and we haven't took the cheap option in doing it.
Love that. And you know what? The man who compiles those views froms that we often read on the forums may well be on this fans forum a bit later on. Stay tuned. Tom and Adam, both of you, thank you so much for joining us. We've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Excellent. So, Nick, we've got more guests to speak to. We have Pommpey, who is a friend of the channel. He's our old salty sea dog. Pommpey is not just a clever name. He's in the Portsmouth area. Of course, Pommpey, as we try and get as many people on as possible, we're also going to welcome in Karen Walsh, who's with us now as well. Hello,
There
Karen.
Hello, you all right?
Yeah, great to see you. And Pommpey as well. I tell you, we are being spoiled for choice, aren't we, Nick?
I know.
We are. Exciting.
Hi, Hal. Hi, Nick. And hi, Karen. How are you? All right.
It's typical. It's got really noisy where I am. I just apologise.
Karen's on the MC.
Is she by Tinsley Viaduct or something?
It could be. Yeah. Can you hear us now, Karen?
I can hear you better now. It's not loud, but I can hear you.
Perfect.
Good. Well, we'll start with you, Karen, anyway.
Yeah.
So, did you foresee the type of season Sheffield United had? Because I'm going to throw him under the bus. Hal definitely did not, because he was putting us like top 5. I'm sure he were at one point.
Oh no, I definitely wouldn't have gone that far. I didn't. I didn't think the season would be as bad as what it actually were, but certainly wouldn't have had us top 5. No, because the previous season ended, I knew that we were struggling with our fans. So, but I weren't looking at relegation, but bottom half at table, I'd have thought.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I was thinking that too. I think hopefully we were going to finish kind of mid-table, but I was kind of expecting, like you say, lower end, not expecting 20th in the league. Definitely not.
Yeah, I think you're just being honest there. And, Pommpey as well, what did you think was the main factor in the season going so spectacularly wrong?
I think really the sort of DNA for this was based in the previous season, wasn't it? Yeah, as we went into the lockdown, we were 6th. We were looking brilliant. We were all polished. Everything looked really great. And then we went into lockdown, and I'm pretty sure that 2 things happened. I think, firstly, other teams had time to sort of look at the videos and look at exactly how Wilder ball was being played. And secondly, I think our side itself went a bit flaccid, because when we came back against Villa, we looked really, really dog-eared and really not the same team as we went into lockdown. Consequently, the remainder of that season was just filled with us trying to play Wilder ball, and all the other teams pressing the midfield, negating the forwards, and blocking the advances down the channels. And as soon as they got that sussed, the results started to collapse. Okay, we had some surprise against Chelsea and against Spurs, but from the moment we started this season, it was pretty evident that all we were doing was just recycling the old. There was no new ideas. There was a couple of new signings, but Wilder just wanted us to play the same way. And as we rolled on towards Christmas with just one single point, I mean, come on, Chris, there's your clues. We're not doing very well. Why not try and change something? I think really the main factor really in this season's disaster has been Wilder's stubbornness. And I'm at a great loss as to why when we got Heckingbottom, who kind of knows the club very well, why there wasn't a kind of slight change in the strategy. Towards the end there was, but we failed to capitalise on really what we should have done and change the whole system itself for, even a boring old 4-4-2, stop the opposition getting the advantage. And that's why we failed badly. That's why United are relegated. Stubbornness, Wilder, same old. You'll always get what you always got if you always do what you always did. You know what I mean? And Chris, that's the adage.
That's why we love you, Pommpey.
I was going to say that.
No. Yeah, we love it.
You're not a Sherpa. You're not a Sherpa either. I don't believe you've never offered to take me up a mountain. Pommpey, how do you view one of the players that we've said goodbye to at the end of this season, Ethan Ampadu, and his overall contribution?
I thought it was inevitable that Ampadu was going to move back to Chelsea. I think really, as soon as the season was over, as soon as we rolled into this year, really, I think Ampadu had his car started and his boot packed. I think poor fella, he was playing amongst a lot of players who were not playing to his level. And I think he is a clever player. I think he's quite an adept player, but I don't think he plays very well in a back three. He's definitely not Jack O'Connell. Jack O'Connell's a monolithic geezer. Ampadu's kind of deft and a bit swervy. And I think really his contribution, he showed some flashes of ability, if not skill. And I thought he did contribute quite a lot, even if he did put the ball in our net a couple of times. But I think really it's sad to see him go. And like I say, I think today the M1 would have been a big load of dust as he zipped down there back to his home at Chelsea. He's looking at another loan out to another Premiership club. He doesn't want to go down with a sinking ship with us, does he? Goodness me, poor fella. So I think his contribution was understated, if anything. I don't think we got the best out of Ethan Ampadu because of how we played. And I think watching him, he looked like a soldier under fire with his bloody rifle above his head, half the time shipping the shells. We didn't get the best out of Ethan Ampadu. You watch him in a couple of seasons' time, he'll be playing for, I don't know, Palace or something like that, and he'll be quite good. But I think he'll be more advanced. I think they'll push him into this defensive midfield role where I think he will probably get a lot better out of him. Sorry, Karen, your turn.
I was just gonna say, it sounded like you were gonna say, he's gonna be playing for someone like Real Madrid, and then you went Palace.
Palace, yeah. Let's be realistic. If you're watching this, Ethan, I'm sorry to understate you. If you do play for Real Madrid, I'll apologise even further.
So, Karen, same question to you. What did you make of Ethan Ampadu's season?
I pretty much agree with what Pommpey's just said. He did show glimpses, but I think the issues for him this season is we weren't very good all season as a team, were we? So I think for someone new to come in and try to display their football and their talents, it's been very, very difficult, because even as best players who were on fire last season have not been on fire this season, have they? Sheffield United just don't do well without fans in ground, and it's just been proven. Because I don't think we'd have got relegated if we'd have had fans in this season. So, I think he's struggled in a struggling team.
Yeah, Pommpey's not agreeing there. He's going to blame Wilder again.
I'm a bit unsold on the fans bit. I think yes, a full Bramall Lane is an area to be sat in and to think, shit, the fans are on fire today.
Pommpey, it's a PG channel, man.
Sorry, I'll rephrase on that. Goodness me, the fans are on fire, and
you didn't draw attention to it, mate. That's great.
I'm sorry, and look at the attitude of the players, because once the second half kicks in, and this is where Karen's on about, and I totally agree. Once they're kicking towards the Kop and the fans are behind it, you watch them; they just steam up the pitch. Mind you, a couple of seasons ago it was a bit different, but I mean, once you've got a full Bramall Lane, you are right, Karen. It does make a difference, but I don't know about the overall thing. I think home and away, we've been in empty stadiums, and I think we've just played rubbish. I think it's just been not very good play.
Yeah, but we are definitely one of those teams that kind of love the momentum, and I feel that if we had that momentum with the crowd in the ground, the Wolves game for me just showed us like we let 2 early goals in, but then we were like on them. I just feel like
I agree, Nick, and you know that Leeds game, Lundstrom misses that chance, but maybe with the fans there, we get another one. And, those challenges that we saw early on, like McBurney sort of nudging players out, the fans would have gone, hey! And in an empty stadium, it's just flat. Nothing happens. Those players don't get buoyed by that. I think we could have turned early defeats into wins.
Just a small thing. If we'd have played so badly this season in front of a full Bramall Lane, can you imagine the reaction from the terraces? Can you imagine them trudging off the pitch, having just given away a late goal against Leicester, having completely capitulated against Crystal Palace, having seen Lundstrom spinning like a paper bag on the touchline?
Well, Lunny would have got it.
Whips past him. I mean, and all of that opprobrium piled onto the heads of Norwood, of Stevens, of McBurney. McBurney would have gone out into the stands and offered people out. He would have been ready to smack people,
Not sure I agree with that. I think, we saw at the end of the season how the fans applauded the players. I think, we would still have stuck with the boys. Karen, let's just go back to you on this. Go on, Nick. I don't want to jump in.
No, that's fine. We'll just go on, Karen. Go on, Karen.
With regards to what is
let's go back to talking about Ampadu. That's where we were, and
all right.
Because there is a big question that we need to ask: is the fact that would you like to see him in a Sheffield United shirt in the Championship if it was possible?
Yeah, I would actually, especially with manager that we've just got in. I think he'd get the best out of him, like Wilder got the best out of players, because he's one of them managers that we've seen in past. He plays like really good attacking football and he's firm. It looks like he's not going to take any rubbish off players, and everyone's going to have to fight for their place in that team. So I think we would see the best out of him at Championship level because of them reasons.
I have to say, I agree with that.
Karen, can you pronounce the manager's name?
Slav.
It's going to be a long season. Put in the comments if you just yes or no, Ampadu back on loan next season, if we can make it happen. Nick and I have a hotline right up to Slav, so just pop it in the comments, yes or no, if you would like Ampadu back on loan next season. Pommpey, do you want him back?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would take Ampadu back because of his experience. But in a Slav side, he would probably be in a completely different area. And I want to see a 4 across the back, 4 in midfield. I'm a horrible thing, 4-4-2, boring as hell. But I think that's where we're going to be moving towards. If I've got this feeling about this guy, I think he's going to standardise everything. We're not going to play fancy football. We're going to play possession football, keep it away from the opposition, play it up the pitch, and score goals. For goodness' sake, score goals, guys. It's just not good enough to come away with such a low goal scoring thing. But yeah, have him back, please. Yeah, come on, bring him back.
Not too many yeses in the comments. Bit unusual that. I expected loads and loads of yeses. Pommpey, so Jack O'Connell, when we knew that we were going to be spending pretty much the rest of the season without him, did you expect us to try and replace him, or do you think that they thought that they'd already got someone in that position because we had tons of them, they just weren't as good?
I think, to be honest with O'Connell as well, he's a bit unique, isn't he, in that sort of Pistons area, as we used to call it, in the fact that what he used to do up that left flank was not what you'd expect a centre-back to do. And he's a quick guy for a big fella, and he would get round the back and he would cross the ball in. So finding someone who had that unique style, has anybody seen a centre-back do that and that's where your problem lies, is the fact that if you're in the transfer market and you say, I'm buying a new Jack O'Connell, I can't honestly see there's many centre-backs at an affordable price who's going to actually replace Jack O'Connell and actually fit into the Sheffield United way. So I think we were caught on the horns of a dilemma. We'd lost a key bloke in the middle of on the left side of the defence. We'd lost him. He'd gone. He was part of our attacking strategy, and I think Karen is by the Tinsley Viaduct. but I think
so I can hear better.
But losing him in such a key area, given he contributed so much towards our strategy and our attacking form, and then looking around in the transfer market in the Premier League, because we're going to have to replace him with a Premier League player. I don't see any Championship or First Division players playing like that, and certainly they don't play like that on the continent. Replacing him was going to be a problem, so I don't think he was that easily replaceable. And I think Wilder, to his credit, tried a series of makeshift stuff with the likes of Stevens. Never going to replace him. Ampadu, no. Robinson, no. I think we ran out of options then, didn't we? I think Basham played on the left side at one stage, did he not? And it was going to be difficult to get a Jack O'Connell replacement at an affordable price, given that we just splashed best part of 50 odd million over 2 seasons on a strike force that didn't score a great deal of goals.
Yes, spot on, Pommpey. I think the comments suggest that the audience love you. I could listen to you read a phone book, to be honest. We're definitely going to get Pommpey back on again, but I'm conscious of the time. So, Karen, we are just going to come to you for one final question. Karen, give us your game of the season at home and your game of the season away, please.
Game of the season at home has got to be Aston Villa for me. Sorry, children running out there. Definitely Aston Villa for me. I don't know why, but I always love beating. Sorry, excuse me. So kids have all come running outside. I'm having a bit of a Mary around.
So, Nick, remember that conversation I had with you about, do we do the fans forum live or do we do it pre?
Aston Villa for me.
You're not sat in the toilet, are you? You're not sat in the toilet.
Honestly, Pommpey.
I don't want to see that. Seriously.
It's the only quiet place you could get.
Well, I should have brought a bottle of wine with me, shouldn't I? I don't know what it is, but I just love getting one over Aston Villa, and I think we played really good football against them. We were back to Sheffield United that we know and love. After that game, I was buzzing. I was like, do you know what? We're actually going to do something. We're going to do it. And then, obviously, the week after it all went wrong again, didn't it? And away for me is Everton. I know a lot of people probably say Man United, but I didn't actually watch that game due to work. So I've got to go on games that I actually watched. And the game that I actually watched that I enjoyed most away were Everton.
Well, you do have a very important job, Karen, so we respect the fact that we missed that for a very good reason. Also, it's been one of those nights where Pommpey swore, where Karen has had the children running after her. It's live. That's what happens. Karen, we loved having you on. We'll definitely get you on again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Pommpey, you are going in the sin bin, mate. That's where you're going.
Can I just say before you go, thank you to both of you and to all your guests as well, for this season's been absolutely awesome, especially online. Yeah. You guys have really, really contributed towards making this season bearable. In fact, more than bearable. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
And if anybody's not heard my Slaviska song, it's on S24 issue somewhere. So
it's rude.
It is rude. Yeah,
unsurprisingly, from what you've witnessed from Pommpey so far. Thank you both. Have a great rest of your evening. Really,
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Up the blades, because really we don't want to go any further down. Let's welcome a couple more guests. Kyle Whittam and Luke Van Dome are joining the forum now. Thanks for being here, chaps. Luke, let's start with you. If you had to pinpoint the one biggest thing, what went wrong for the Blades, my friend, this season?
First of all, I would like to thank you for having me on. And secondly, please do not cancel me for saying this. I can't actually believe I'm about to say it out loud, but I think potentially not sacking Wilder earlier, which this is crazy. I can't even believe I'm saying it. But the fact is, by the time that he was sacked, and bear with me, please, we were already well relegated, right? So for me, we should have been begging him to stay. If we were going to sack him at all, it was better to do it earlier and obviously give us some sort of a different change, give Hecky a chance, or give a different manager a chance to actually keep us up. So I think by sacking him so late, it seemed a pointless sacking to me. I would much rather have begged him to stay. So it was a good thing. I do love Wilder. Obviously, he's an absolute hero, but hopefully you can see where I'm coming from. It just seemed a pointless sacking, and we should have kept him.
Well, he resigned, Luke. I think we've got to make that clear. And I know that the owner did beg him to stay.
But he resigned on his third or fourth go.
Second, we think. So, yeah, there's obviously reasons why, yes. And we could get into those another time, I suppose, that we'll probably never really know.
No. And obviously you can't understate what he's done for us. But I just feel like surely there were conditions under which we could have kept him. And, yeah, I don't know. Perhaps if a decision was made a bit sooner, point being, we would have perhaps stood a chance of staying up.
Tell you what, we're all speechless, aren't we? Kyle, great.
Shaking his head there with him.
Well,
anyway, have a good night.
That's Luke, the Sheffield Wednesday fan. So I'm joking. I'm joking. In fact, if we could just say a quick word on the situation at Sheffield Wednesday, and that word is ha. Kyle, let's go to you. I was going to ask you a different question, but what you've just heard from Luke, do you think Wilder should have been sacked sooner? Oh, no, sooner.
It's a difficult conversation to have, really, because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, stubbornness aside or whatever you think, firstly, I think whenever he was in charge, I saw 100% from every player, every game. Maybe, a little bit not towards Lundstrom, but everybody else, I saw 100%. I saw him on the sidelines. I could hear him. And for the last 5 seasons that we've had him, we'll never get this again. We'll never get, one of our own as a manager, one of our own as team captain. That'll never happen again. These have been, soak it all up, because that's never going to happen again. It's just, you've won lottery by getting, Chris Wilder as, one of your own as manager, taking him from League One to Premiership, and with Billy Sharp being his club captain. So I love him. I won't say a bad word against him. I understand, you can say he should have changed things up, etc. But whatever happened behind the scenes, not my problem. He's a better manager than I will ever be. Who am I to question Chris Wilder? I didn't want him to get sacked. I was fuming when he did get sacked, but
resigned.
Resign, whatever. You'll never know, will you, Al? You'll never know.
You're right. We'll never really know.
I didn't either. Just to clarify, I didn't want him to go.
But I'm happy with new manager. I think it's ambition. 100% of Watford fans love him. 100% of Fulham fans love him. They're basically saying you'll score 1 million goals, you'll play attacking football, and that's all you can look forward to. So I'm happy with that.
Kyle, that is just brilliant. I'm a huge Wilder fan as well, so I agree with everything you say. Luke, that's not against you. So Kyle, who was the best strike partnership in the season, in your opinion? Who was the two you'd have liked to have seen playing up front the most because they did the best?
I'm not. Is that even a question?
It's a hard question.
Yeah, it's a very difficult question. I think you've got to say that there's only Mcgoldrick who deserved his shirt in the end. I can tell you wouldn't get into the top 2, should I say. Brewster, Moose, Burke, they got nowhere near the top. So who got left? Sharp, McBurney, Jefferson maybe. But I'll probably just say Mcgoldrick, and I can see Mcgoldrick and Jefferson being the 2 players next season, but I don't think we had the best striking partnership. You just can't answer it. It's just Mcgoldrick on his own.
I think really,
I'm a fan of McBurney, by the way. I think he'll come good next season. I don't like all 8 he's getting. He'll come good. Trust me.
Yeah, well, let's hope he does. And to be fair, they've all got good records in the Championship, haven't they? So let's hope that we see it from most of them. I think, to be honest, we've got to say Jebbo and Mcgoldrick together. I wish they'd had longer together, but saying that, if he'd have come in earlier, he might not have done as well as what he did, Jebbo. So, but no, fair enough. We'll move on. And Luke, would you like to see Michael Verips given a chance next season with how well he's done on his loan spell?
Well, when I had this question put to me, I did sort of wonder, because Aaron Ramsdale is still a Sheffield United player, as far as I was aware. In terms of giving him a chance, I guess it depends what you mean by that. Obviously, Simon Moore, a great servant to the club, has just left. Then there's the well-criticised, for whatever reason, Fotheringham, who we've not seen loads of. So if given a go classes as being our number 2, then yes, I absolutely would love to see him. He's a 24-year-old lad. He can learn a lot, and I'm sure he can push Rammers, which, will only kick him on even further. But as long as Aaron Ramsdale is at this football club, he is my starting number 1 goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think that's the point, though, isn't it? He's got to push him. And if you've got... Because the Blades have been lucky in the past. We have had occasions where we've had great goalkeepers at the same time at the club, and they've pushed each other to get even better. And that's obviously what we want. We want that number 1 to be pushed. And Luke, give us some names you'd like to see Sheffield United sign for next season.
Oh, how long have you got? I've done... If you've got a bit of time, I've got 3. I'm thinking, obviously, we've been relegated. Barring selling Berger, we might not want to spend too much money. Barnes, the captain, number 1 for me. 𝐷𝐿𝐼𝐸 is available on a free signing. He's only 26 years old, scored 8 goals in Championship, 7 assists, massively overperformed, and he knows what it's like to play for a Yorkshire badge. And I think it's understated that Sheffield United's built on values, perhaps before quality, actually. So he would be quality. Second, I've gone with Harvey Elliot. Obviously, Slav coming in, he is loving wingers. We don't have any. Arguably, you could put Burke on the left and have Harvey Elliot on the right. I think that would be very interesting. Elliot got, what did he get? 7 goals, 11 assists in the Championship. We've had really successful loan spells before with Ben Woodburn from Liverpool, obviously. I just think it suits the style. And then finally, this might be a bit ambitious because I've seen him linked to Benfica, also available on a free, so great purse strings. Harvey Elliott would be a loan, by the way. Ryan Gold, who's just scored 9 and got 7 assists in the Portuguese league. Obviously, we're desperate for a centre attacking mid. He's young, 25, perfect age, again available on a free. And Slav likes a young player to play behind, sort of a big striker. And I think imagine Ryan Gold, Harvey Elliott on the right. If we can teach Burke how to shoot, and then sort of Brewster or Jeb or McBurney up top, I think frightening.
Yeah, or Mitrovic. Gould, I like him because he was born in the same hospital as me, so that'd be a good one, just personally. Kyle, what areas do you think 𝐷𝐿𝐼𝐸 is actually going to need to strengthen?
Well, it depends on who goes, really, doesn't it? Really, I'm not 100% sure. Before we got Brewster, I thought we needed a better attacking midfielder, somebody that were going to unlock the defences of the opposition. So I think I get what Wilder did when he dropped Duffy and brought Lundstrom to the team and showed it all up. But we're going back down. I always thought Didzy were going to be that player that we're going to just drop in because he likes to drop deep. But I think we need somebody in that area, and we don't even know what sort of formation he's going to play. So if we're going to stick to the same with 3 in midfield, we need somebody who's going to be a bit more focused on not just playing overlapping wing backs, maybe getting into the midfield and trying to link up.
Fair enough, mate. Let's move on to something a little bit more positive. I know we've scored loads and loads and loads of goals this season, Luke. So which one was your favourite goal? Of the season?
From all 5 that we scored, I narrowed it down to 2 honourable mentions and a goal. I think you cannot go without talking about Jebison's full debut goal. Sorry. Obviously, that's a massive positive for us from this season is our youngsters, and that was the way to sort of underline that. And it was a great moment for the club. I thought my second honourable mention, Kean Bryan scoring in a 2-1 away win, at Old Trafford. It's always good when a goal means something, and for that lad to score, potentially it means more to him coming through City. To score against United for us and get a historic win for us at Old Trafford was massive. But the one that I've decided for is Mr. David Mcgoldrick, absolute hero of the season, in a 1-0 win against Villa. Picks the ball up from Fleck near the halfway line, fizzes one out to Baldock, who fizzes one into the box, where Mcgoldrick's made his run and just a tap in. I just think you could say that is us playing the Sheffield United way. There you go. It was just
Cracking
what
goal.
we are, what we're all about. And I love it when a goal means something. And obviously we've had a terrible season since it's a PG channel. I'll say that. So for us to beat Villa, strangely, like I think it was Karen said, I actually love beating Villa as well. So yeah, it felt good, and it was a great goal.
Do you know what's quite funny? I was joking, obviously, the fact that we'd not scored many goals, but at the same time, when you said Mcgoldrick, I was thinking Arsenal, then I was thinking Burnley. It's like, wow, 3 decent goals that we could actually talk about. Chelsea, yeah. Oh, yeah, Chelsea. God, I didn't even think about that. What a goal that was. Yeah, beautiful. Great play. And again, the Sheffield United way, because it was a bit out of the Alan Nil playbook, weren't it? Whitham, what was your highlight of the season, mate?
Easiest question you've asked me. Easy. My missus is a Geordie, so beating Newcastle, unbelievable. I'll let her know as well. I know they've just beaten us, but like they doubled us last season. In fact, they embarrassed us last season. I got some right stick off all her family, just rinsing me right, left, and centre. So when we beat them, I'll let them have it. I'm gutted as well because I had all this like plan if we doubled them to like pull myself a double and be that guy. But
yeah.
Kyle, how do you think I feel? My wife and her family are all from Leeds.
Yeah, well, my stepmom's from like Keighley, and they're all Leeds fans. So I'm in your that bubble as well. Yeah.
It's been awful. We've had the last sort of felt like 15 years of getting it over on them by literally just saying we're in a higher league or we've been beaten them. But yeah, not a great time.
Can't grumble though because they've been unbelievable, haven't they? I thought our season were good last season, but they were.
Oh, come on, let's not talk about that.
Right, let's end it there. Yeah. Let's end it there. We've had Luke saying Wilder should have been sacked on day one. No. We've had Kyle talking about how great Leeds United are.
I'm not saying how great they are. We're all blades at the end of the day, but I just appreciate
we are all blades. And I have to say, Kyle, you have been absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much for being on the channel. We'll definitely get you and Luke on again. Luke, cheers.
Sure, and boys.
Yeah, up to that.
Good to speak to you both. Anna Kent is going to join us now from Rainbow Blades.
Nope.
Firstly, Anna, I would just like to say to you, a very happy Pride Month. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you. I'm really good, thanks. How are you guys?
Good. Great to have you on the programme.
Oh, gosh, sorry. I feel like my internet's been fine and now it's gone dodgy.
That always happens, don't worry. It's usually happening to me. It does sound like someone's typing everything that we're saying. I mean, actually, if you would like this entire programme as a transcript, just type out everything we say. So yeah, Anna's got slight internet issues there. We'll try and get her back on as soon as we possibly can. Nick, shall we jump straight on to our next couple of guests?
Yeah, we've got Jeff and Yaroslav. I brought in Yaroslav then by accident because everything's jumping about at the bottom. So we'll bring in Jeff.
What does that mean? Is that a euphemism?
No, and Yaroslav. How are we doing, guys? Welcome to the show.
Hi. I'm good. Yeah.
Good to see you both. Thank you so much for being part of the programme. So, Nick, I'll let you kick off with the first question.
Yeah, Jeff. So, which teams do you fear next season in the Championship?
Nobody.
It's a poor league, isn't it? Everyone's saying it.
Nobody.
I love that.
I'm not prepared for that question. Not really anybody. I mean, the two teams that came down, West Brom and Fulham, they'll be tough. But no, I don't really fear. Since they made Jovanovic, is that how you pronounce his name? Jovanovic?
No,
it's near.
It's close enough. We know. Yeah, Yaroslav, I had a feeling you'd be able to nail that one. Yeah, just call him Big Slav, Jeff.
Big Slav. Before I go any further, and I'll let the other person cut in. If anybody's watching on YouTube, on Facebook, YouTube, they do actually do like a voice recognition with the subtitles. Have you seen that?
Yes, they do. Very, very good point, Jeff.
So I've made a note, because I've been listening for an hour. I made a note that Jovanovic on the subtitles is cannabis. It's cannabis.
Oh, brilliant.
Right. Bulldog is bulldog.
Where's this going, Jeff?
I don't know, but I love it. Keep it going.
I'm worried about where it's going. All right.
I'm keeping it clean. And Egan is eager.
Eager.
So you've got eager, bulldog, and cannabis.
Eager and Big Slav together.
Yeah,
I love the cannabis one. But
I like that one the least because of the channel.
But no, really, seriously speaking, since Jovanovic or whatever, Slav, was made manager, I don't fear anybody. I'm totally confident. With all due respect to Higginbottom, and he did a very difficult job taking over from everybody's god, Mr. Wilder. He did a really great job, but I was hoping he wouldn't be made permanent manager. No disrespect to the guy. And with Slav being put in charge, I don't fear anybody. We will be in the Premier League in 12 months' time.
Wow. So you're saying that we're going to win the league?
Well, we're going to be promoted.
Who's going to be up there with us?
Oh, Jesus.
He's going to be there.
He's going to be there, especially on the Easter Bank Holiday Monday, yeah.
You having a drink there, Jeff?
I'm having a drink there.
Yeah, no.
Am I allowed that on a parental guidance?
I'm just saying I could have guessed.
Honestly,
Don't worry about who's going to be up there because I've got my birthday in November. So Yaroslav, with everyone fit, who plays up front next season in your opinion?
Well,
it's
me and you.
It's actually.
Me and you know each other a little bit, Al, and we.
It's actually like such a tough question, especially before we actually know what 𝐽𝐚𝐽𝐝 is gonna play. Is he gonna have like two strikers up front, one striker up front? What's gonna happen? We don't really know. For me, the trickiest person for me was Berg, because I don't really know where to put him. Like for me, I was thinking if we play like a big striker and kind of smaller, more pacey striker together up front. So for me, it was obviously like Mcgoldrick. Under him, it's McBurney, if fit, and kind of the third striker is Sharp to kind of get some experience, to get some passion in the matches where we need it. Like really need. He has a character. He can bring it to the team. And if we talk about kind of other strikers, obviously Brewster needs to play. If he doesn't play in the championship, it's going to be like, why did we even bring him? Also, I really want to see the second striker for me is Mus. I just don't know. I want to see him play more. I want to see what he's capable of, because he could do it in the Prem. So why not? I'm pretty sure he can do something in the championship. So for me, he's kind of like number 2. And the third one is I want to see Jebison to be around the team, basically. Maybe not like the first striker, first choice, but I want to see him around the team. So it leaves Berg without a space, and I'm not really sure where he can go. Maybe on the flanks, but it really depends on what 𝐽𝐚𝐽𝐝 want to play.
Yeah, really. We've got so many, haven't we? We've got tons and tons of strikers. They're all different. They've all been shocking, other than Mcgoldrick and Chebo this season. So let's see what next season brings. So Jeff, obviously you're not scared of anyone. We're not playing Wednesday next season. So what games are you looking forward to when the fixture list comes out?
Well, I was hoping you would ask me what's the big bonus for last season. That was Sheffield Wednesday getting relegated. But little comment about what Slav was saying is that I don't worry about the strikers so much. I think Brewster will come good. McBurney, but the big problem we had last season and we had the season before was midfield creating chances. and I was hoping we would sign Campbell from Norwich last summer. But who am I looking forward to playing next year? Well, I live in Rotherham. I live in Kimberworth. But Rotherham have got relegated. I was really looking forward to playing Rotherham. I wasn't looking forward to playing Sheffield Wednesday. I never am, even though we beat them more than we lose. But I don't know, mate. That's a good one. Everybody, really. It's just nice to be back in the stadium next year. I mean, I've got my season ticket. It's just great to get back in the stadium. So I'm looking forward to us playing everybody, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really good answer, mate. Really, really good answer. Yaroslav, same for you, mate?
For me, the kind of all away matches feel special because obviously I'm not from Sheffield. I'm not even from the UK. I'm a Russian person, so I really want to kind of go and explore all the different grounds, all the different teams, and I don't really care whether it's like, I don't know, Blackpool or whether it's kind of a cup away game somewhere. I don't really care. I just want to go to places. And if my studies allow me, I'll try to go to like every match. But if talking about teams where I want to go, I really want to go to Wales. So it's like Cardiff, Swansea. I want to go to Blackpool. I want to go to Bournemouth. So kind of see different parts of the country, and what of particular interest for me.
Yeah, I love that. My wife, as soon as she realised about Blackpool, she said, "We've got to go to Blackpool away. Make that happen. Weekend, Blackpool away." And Jeff, Blackpool away. That's a game, isn't it?
I was just going to say, normally we get Blackpool away like midweek in February or something.
True. Always.
Not always.
It's windy.
We did go there once and win 3-1, didn't we? On a very hot day.
Greg Halford was playing, and they were just building the stand.
Yeah, we were on that sort of temporary stand, and my wife her watch fell off and went down the scaffolding, and we never saw it again.
That's the one, yeah, mate. Remember that one. Slav, whereabouts in Russia are you from?
I'm from Moscow.
Oh, cool.
Heard of that?
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one.
I've been to Moscow a few times. Yeah, I've been to Moscow a few times. I had a Russian girlfriend. She was a supporter of CSKA.
I support the club in Russia myself. Yeah.
Oh, should we leave?
Which club?
CSKA Moscow in Russia.
Heard of them.
Good luck.
Heard of them. Good. Right, we've covered Russia. Now, Yaroslav, what are the positives, do you think, about Sheffield United now being in the Championship?
I think the first one, and probably the most obvious, is that the fact that even though the Championship is a competitive league, it's a really strong league, it's still less pressure than in the Premier League. So I think for 𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐽𝐻 especially, it's going to be better to start in the Championship, to kind of try different approaches to game, how he sees the team and stuff like that. I think it's going to be beneficial for the youngsters as well. It's kind of less pressure than in Premier League, and their position, they are maybe not that strong, so more chances to play the youngsters. Again, next season is going to be really competitive, and people are saying that the next season is kind of bad. I don't really think so. I think it's more of equal teams, more or less, and it's going to be interesting to see what our real level is. Are we like good? Was the last season was just a fluke or not? I think it can show that. And yeah, just more football, basically. More football, more away games, more home games, more innings than Bramall Lane. So why not to love? And obviously VAR is gone, so it's going to be much better with that.
Yeah, we don't want that. None of that, because we want to actually be able to celebrate a goal and know that all you have to do is look at the linesman, look at the referee, and we know that it's a goal. That's the only saving grace is when you concede a goal, you're the opposite way around, aren't you? Like, are they checking anything? So I don't want any of that. You're absolutely right, mate. And I absolutely agree with what you said as well about going and seeing different grounds, because one of my favourite away days was Luton away before they changed grounds, going through someone's back garden to get to away end. Love stuff like that. Something a little bit different. Yeah, absolutely bang on there. And final thing, what I was going to say, Jeff, going back to Paul Heckingbottom and what he's done in the back end of this season, if you had a chance to say something to him right now, what would you say, mate?
I would actually say well done, mate, because one good thing for Slav, whatever, Jovanovic, is that when Wilder left, there was a massive outcry. And I understand that. And the guy had done a brilliant job. And anybody who took over from Wilder was in a very, very, very difficult position. So it's brilliant for Heckingbottom that he did a great job for 5 months, steadying the ship, took over, very calm, did a decent job. And like if the new manager would have taken over directly after Wilder back in January, end of January, beginning of February, I don't know. But with Heckingbottom steadied the ship a little bit, calmed it down. We've all had time to get everything out of our system about Wilder, and the new manager now is taking over in a more calm situation after Heckingbottom's kind of steadied the ship a bit.
Great point.
So well done, Heckingbottom. I didn't want you to be the permanent manager. Apologies, Guy, but well done, and thank you very much for getting us through the rest of the season, kind of thing. And we won a few games as well, which was surprising.
3. Well said, Jeff. I think that's a really good point that they allowed the kind of dust to settle. If they'd appointed someone as soon as Wilder left. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Wilder did a brilliant job for 4 years, but this season, it was terrible. I mean, I equate it to Boris Johnson being Prime Minister. It's a very difficult situation to be in.
You see our faces there. We're not getting into politics.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
In any way, shape or form. Jeff, we'll get you on again for the late night version. We'll find out about that Russian girlfriend. Yaroslav and Jeff, both of you.
Not too much.
I think we already heard enough, to be fair. Both of you, thanks very much. We'll hopefully see, Yaroslav will see you at Bramall Lane and an away game next season. I really hope for that. Jeff, I will definitely see you at beautiful.
Of course. Get to the Red Deer, mate. Get to the Red Deer before the game.
All right. We could possibly sort that stuff out off air, but thank you very much, both of you. Really appreciate it. We're going to go back to Anna Kent now. Let's welcome back Anna Kent from Rainbow Blades. Anna, let's see how we're doing. Have you put a pound in the meter?
I don't know what was wrong with that, to be honest, but can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. It sounded like some horses were trotting past.
Honestly, it was like 2 minutes before I was coming on, my phone started making really weird noises. It just like overloaded. Anyway.
Yeah, but definitely sounds much better now. Good stuff. Rainbow Blades, tell us all about it.
Okay, so Rainbow Blades is Sheffield United's LGBT plus and allies fan group. We're officially affiliated to the club, we're officially affiliated to the Football Supporters Association, but that's kind of like boring stuff. We've got, since we launched last April, we've got over 200 members, which I think it's blown us all away by the reaction of fans. I mean, obviously there's always going to be some people, especially on social media, giving us a bit of jip, but for the most part, the reaction's been amazing. And to get 200 like-minded people together has been absolutely awesome. We've been holding virtual pre-match socials all season, and it's been wonderful. Like, I never thought becoming part of Rainbow Blades, I'd come out with friends, and it's given me that and so much more. And so, yeah, it's just a great group of people. And I think if we can make anyone feel safer at Bramall Lane when we are back there, then that's a real win.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's been a successful season then, fair to say, for Rainbow Blades.
Yeah, I mean, a bit better than the actual season gone for United. So it's definitely been a silver lining in what's been a weird year and a bad year for the Blades. We've been featured on Sky Sports, the Premier League, we've done some articles. We had a great Rainbow Laces campaign that the club got involved in. They lit Bramall Lane up in rainbow colours, which was pretty cool. And we've got more things in the pipeline. We're working with the Community Foundation. with a charity in Sheffield called 𝐍𝐨𝐫𝐝. So yeah, it feels like we've really hit the ground running.
That's brilliant. That's excellent. Curtis Woodhouse is also involved as an ambassador. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we announced him a few months ago now. Sadly, we'd actually added to that tally. We'd added Len Badger a couple of weeks before he passed away, which is a real shame. Obviously, it's awful that his guy didn't come through an operation. He was so on board with it, and I think for someone of that generation to be so on board with our ethos is quite rare. So it's a real shame to lose him, but we've got Curtis, and we'll hope to add to those numbers and keep getting people on board, because it can only be a good thing. Ex-players,
YouTubers, the list goes on.
You're definitely next on my list.
Absolutely. Well, good luck as well for next season with more great work from Rainbow Blades. I know you're also a follower of the women's team, so Sheffield United women's side. We haven't really touched on what they've achieved this season. We've just been focusing on the men's side. So what can you tell us about their season, please?
I mean, they've had a pretty decent season. Last year was a bit annoying because obviously it kind of all came to an end and they didn't get to finish the season, and they were second at the point that it stopped, which is quite frustrating. But this season they finished fourth. They've got, I think it's 38 points in 20 games, which, I mean, that's really not bad, is it? And they're just building on the squad. They've got quite a few young players through the academy, and they seem like in a really positive position to push for promotion next year. The only bad thing is that only one team goes up out of the Women's Championship. So if you're not in that top spot, then that's it. There's no mobility, which is a shame. But it's just that there are only 12, well, there's only 11 teams this season, but there are normally only 12 teams in the league. So you can't really have more than one going up. Maybe you could have two. But no, I mean, solid squad, new manager. I think they've done a sterling job in difficult circumstances as well. And you've got to remember, they're all semi-pro, like they're all working full-time jobs around this. I mean, one of the women's players, she works at the Community Foundation, so she's doing that 9 to 5 and then heading off to training and playing matches on the weekends. So, I mean, it's such a contrast to the men's game, and you really have to applaud them for it.
Yeah, you really do. And finally, where can people find everything they need to find about Rainbow Blades?
At Rainbow Blades, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and our website is cheflaces.com/Rainbow Blades.
Anna from Rainbow Blades, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on. Thanks,
anytime.
Guys.
Cheers. Thanks for being part of the Fans Forum. Andrew Haig is better known by his aliases, Panchero on Twitter, Roy, 𝐍𝐸𝐵𝐿, Roy's View From, and whatever name he decides to go under tonight. He is here with us tonight. Andrew, how's it going?
All right, too many aliases. I'm frightened to use them.
Well, you've put them all on there, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I thought, which one should I go with? Because I don't know what I'm known like sort of best at. So I thought I'll go with 3 of them, and then you can call me what you want after.
We generally, off air, call you our favourite one from Blades Pod.
That's when Ben don't watch it, so it don't matter, does it?
Exactly. That's why I said it.
We can get away with saying that.
Can't say it on Benjamin Bloom's channel, though, can we?
Oh, can't say on that channel. He does watch that, yeah.
Yeah, that's very true, yeah.
He watches that one. Yeah, so it's great to have you on. And Roy's View From is just an institution for Sheffield United fans. It's brilliant. It's great that you started it. And, everyone, well, when we're doing well, we like to look at it.
Yeah.
But when we're doing not so well, I'm guessing you don't get as many clicks.
I've noticed by the lack of people looking at the blogs this season that people don't like looking when we lose, to be fair, but it's been horrendous. It really has. I mean, you know, like Deadbat does the match reports on S2 and stuff like that. And I think in a way, like, it probably lets him get a bit of steam out, criticising the players. And with me, all I'm doing is going onto other people's forums saying, they're rubbish, they're crap, them. It's like, oh yeah, well, you know, here we go, and put it on. It's been the hardest season. I've been doing it since 2000 and when did Danny Wilson take over? 2011, 12.
God, I didn't realise it was that long.
Yeah, and we've had obviously horrible seasons in the sense that, like, Atkins' season were awful and stuff. This has been the hardest one because we lose every week. You know, we went 18 games without a win, or we got 2 draws in that point, and Yeah, really difficult. I've missed more this season than I ever have before, to be fair, probably combined.
Yeah. I don't blame you one little bit. So, how excited are you for fans returning to Bramall Lane, mate?
I'm trying not to get overboard with it because you never know what's around the corner. But yeah, I can't wait. Ben Obvisoff, Blaze Pod, went to the Burnley game because he's a scab, isn't he, obviously. So he went to the Burnley game and he absolutely loved it. Said like it was just like as soon as he went straight back into the ground, it was just like everything back to normal. I imagine it'll be a bit weird going back, to be fair, but at the same time, yeah, I can't wait. Away games in particular. Didn't realise how much I missed them actually until we went to the Premier League and I didn't have enough loyalty points to get tickets. So, so now I'm really desperate to get away. I go to as many away games as possible, obviously, as well as the home games.
Yeah, me too. Away games for me are my favourites, and I think Nick and I, we've spoken about how we want to do an away game together, and that's just always my best memories. Always my best memories have been in away games, even if the games aren't as good. It's just that you're all in it together, usually in some sort of cow shed, particularly in the old days, and it's just
completely. And like sorry, Jeff, last person to Roma talk about Blackpool away, spot on. Every time they're in our league, like right, this season they're going to Blackpool, no problem, go to Blackpool away this season. And then it's always midweek, and you're like, I've got work day after or that day or whatever, so you can't do it. But hopefully we get Blackpool on a Saturday, and hopefully I can go. Because I think even if I didn't get tickets, I'd probably still go, to be honest, for the away day.
Imagine Blackpool on like a bank holiday weekend. That would just be...
honestly.
Could you imagine?
I don't drink, and I'd probably start just...
Oh, yeah, I think you should. I think but just become an alcoholic, I think, from them, because he's never going to get any better than Blackpool away on a bank holiday weekend. So
yeah, well, I'd be called a alcoholic. Andrew,
too good.
Can't
keep up. I can't do justice to this channel with stuff like that coming out.
You can, and you're welcome anytime. But do you think fans back in grounds is going to make a difference on the field? Because Pommpey earlier, he speculated that actually Sheffield United would have gone down with fans in or not.
I think we'd have still gone down, so I think we're in the three worst teams, to be honest. I think those three teams who went down were far worse than everyone else who went down, personally. I think we'd have turned a couple of those draws into wins, maybe, and maybe a couple of losses into draws, but I still think we'd have gone down because I think it was just the end of the cycle, and that's not Wilder's fault for me. He couldn't tell that Stevens and Norwood were going to drop off like they did. Nobody could foresee what were going to come. But I just think it just all hit us at the once with the COVID, obviously the pause in the season, then the no fans, and then going on a bad run. It all just snowballed. But I think these players now, I'm not saying we need a complete clear out, but I think the cycle has just ended.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're bang on there. I definitely don't think we need a full clear out. Maybe just a little bit of tinkering. And obviously, if it's going to be a different formation, then we'll have to get some wingers in finally, a bit of speed.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, I'll talk like, obviously, you asked someone else earlier about which player can you not see being here next season or whatever, and I was thinking Oliver Burke, because I don't know how he works in a championship team that are going to have, hopefully, a lot of possession, because he's normally the guy you hit over the top, but I don't know, maybe he could convert to a winger. He needs to learn how to play football first, though, don't I? So,
yeah, he's not great on the ball, is he?
No, really unfortunately not. No, he's just an athlete, isn't he, though? He's like the beginning of the season, I was crying out for him to play more, just simply because he offered us something that we'd not got.
But did you notice towards the end of the season, I was exactly the same. I was like crying out for him. That Arsenal away game when we were playing on the break and he got pulled back and it should have been a red card and all that lot. That sort of time, I was like, yes, we need him playing every single away game. But then we'd bring him on in the back end of a game where we had all the possession. And
we were losing. Yeah, it absolutely spot on. This is what I mean. I mean, 𝐿𝐴𝐕𝐏𝐍 by the sounds of it. You know, I've learned how to pronounce that, by the way, in the past like couple of months. But yeah, 𝐿𝐴𝐕𝐏𝐍 is obviously he's all about possession and stuff like that. And this is where I worry about someone like Oliver maybe not fitting into that. But who knows? I'm really excited. This is controversial, a lot of controversial takes today. I sort of feel a little bit more, this is where it backfires and you can clip this and ruin my credibility, but I sort of feel a little bit more confident with a new manager than we'd have had with Wilder, because I think if it had started badly with Wilder the season after, I think that would have almost been even worse, because I do worry that the cycle had just ended and maybe everyone needed a freshening up, including Wilder himself. I've no doubt he's going to go on to achieve excellent stuff elsewhere. But you don't really get those longevity anymore, do you, managers? And I just wonder if those 5 years we had with Wilder, just sort of came to a natural end, really, in an explosion of devastation that with this season.
While we've got you on as well, I want to ask you about, do you think wherever Chris Wilder goes next, he will try and kind of grab a few Sheffield United players and run away?
Hopefully. Hopefully he takes a few of them, yeah. I think he's like his lieutenants, if you like, your Ender Stevens, maybe even John Fleck. I think he'll be interested, but obviously they're the wrong side of 30 now. So let's say he goes to West Brom. I'm not sure how much control you get over transfers at West Brom. I'm not sure if their chairman is going to be saying, hang on, these lads are about to retire in like 3 or 4 years or whatever. We don't want these players in, but I don't know. I really, really don't know. He didn't bring that many in, did he, from Oxford and Northampton? So I can only really think of Ricky Owens. Lundstrom. I don't think, did he play with Lundstrom? Did Lundstrom?
He was at Oxford. That's all I know.
Yeah, I can only think Jake Wright, maybe Lundstrom, as you say, and Ricky Owens. So maybe not something that he normally does, that, to be fair.
Possibly right there. So talking about kind of signings and different things, what are your thoughts on how the club is being run right now?
I thought there were a lot of unfair criticism early doors when the Wilder stuff happened at the board, because we didn't really know what had happened. A lot of people sort of supposing what had happened. I don't think you can fault the ambition so far, because I think obviously there were a lot of worries, and understandable worries that, he's going to do a Chanseri, especially after the Burnley £40 thing as well. But I just don't think you appoint a manager like 𝐿𝐚𝐷𝐿 if you're not taking it as seriously as you possibly can, because it would have been so easy for him, the Prince or the board or whoever, to appoint someone like Heckingbottom or Appleton or Carl Robinson or Gary Megson or someone like that, just for sort of easy money. Right, there you go, give you £20 a week, get on with it. But I'd be surprised if 𝐿𝐚𝐷𝐿 is not the highest paid manager in the entire championship, to be fair. And I think that's got to show ambition. It's one of the most ambitious managerial appointments I can think of. Well, everyone keeps bringing back to it, but probably Atkins, unfortunately.
Or Brian Robson, since then.
Yeah, Brian Robson. The thing with Brian Robson, I think his sort of star was on the way down. He'd been relegated at Middlesbrough twice, and West Brom, I think he got sacked just before they'd gone down. 𝐿𝐚𝐷𝐿 has had the only real blotch against his record is that 10-game bad start for Fulham. I think if you ask any championship club if they were wanting a manager, who are you going to go for? I remember like Wednesday fans, the amount of managers they'd gone through, every time it came to like, who do you want? They want 𝐿𝐚𝐷𝐿, because he's the go-to guy. So I do think it's a really ambitious opinion.
Well, we don't know. You didn't get the view from Al Gharafa.
I didn't know. I embarrassed myself massively when we signed... I can't even pronounce his name. What was his name? Ricky Zivkovic or whatever his name was.
Zivkovic.
Whatever, yeah. And I tried to get some views on him from the club he was in China, and the Google Translate did not do him any favours, to be fair. If you want to check it out, it's on the website. The Red Sauce were another one as well, where I'm not going to repeat what they said on here for some of it, because there were a lot of swear words, but in random order. So, yeah, I didn't go for it this time. I thought, and it was perfect. The Fulham and Watford fans were so perfect because I couldn't find barely any bad views from them. I thought, release it to the masses. Let's get some excitement for next season.
Absolutely. And what are your honest expectations for Sheffield United next season?
So difficult, this, because obviously we don't know what players are going to be there. I'm more
all the formation.
I'm more optimistic now we've got a good manager in place, at least on paper. And looking at the playoffs, and I've seen, obviously with Wednesday going down, I did take a bigger interest in the latter end of the championship season and watched a few games that were involving Wednesday or involving, teams around Wednesday. The standard was not as good, I don't think, as when we went up. You think about when we went up, you had Norwich, Leeds, Villa, Derby County, where they had Mason Mount and Tomore, two people who are in the England 26 initial squad. There's no one like that, I don't think, other than the 3 teams coming down and possibly Bournemouth. There's no one else there, I think, who's as strong as those 6 that went up, the top 6 of the season we went up.
And Bournemouth fans will tell you they're in the right state. They're not confident going into next season. So I agree with what you just said there. I mentioned formation. What formation do you actually expect us to be kicking off that first game away at Blackpool on a Saturday at 3:00 in the sun? What formation do you expect Sheffield United to play?
I'll say 3-5-2 because I can't remember the last time we didn't start with that formation. So if we start with like 4-3-3, I'm like, do you remember the team sheet got when we played Chelsea in the Cup?
Tell me about it.
Yeah,
Bobby in the background had a nightmare.
And obviously, 4-4-2, and it honestly looked like it was like it'd be Photoshop because you were that used to seeing 3-5-2. But I think I'd like to see sort of 3 up front. If you're like, I mean, when I mean 3 up front, I mean sort of with wingers and a central striker, at least one, because I think by the sounds of it, this guy, Big Slav as I'm calling him, as or Slaved. He's all out attack. So hopefully, the worst case scenario is we may fail, but it should be exciting.
I remember Brian Robson playing 3 up front away at Watford, so he could try and get Stead and Webber kind of involved.
Yeah, I remember Brian Robson playing Billy Sharp on the right wing though. So peaks and troughs of the Robson era.
Yeah, not too many peaks.
Yeah, very true.
No, I think signing Beattie is probably his biggest peak.
Yeah.
Because, we definitely didn't want to see him go. Anyway, let's move on to a very, very unimportant question. Best kit of the season, home, pink or green? And if you say home, you're never coming back on this channel ever again.
I'd never say the home kit. We're appalling home kit, that I thought. I loved the pink kit when it first came out. Unfortunately, I just associate it with us losing.
Losing every week.
I'm going to say the green kit because I used to have a load of Ireland shirts when I was younger. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. I used to have loads of Ireland shirts when I was younger because I just loved that bright green sort of stood out to me as a kid. So I'll say the green kit, even though I don't think we ever won in it.
It's also for, we believe, Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
Is that right?
Well, yeah, we weren't sure whether it were Irish for like Ender and Egan and all them, or whether it was Saudi Arabia. And I think it's more Saudi Arabia, really. It's that sort of colour, isn't it, rather than an Irish colour.
It's nice we've got a colossal world leader of football to inspire our kit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great kit, and I agree with your choice there. It's one that I would wear, as Carlos Saba would say, it wears well with jeans. Andrew, tell people where they can find your work.
It's www.reviewfrom.com or follow me at Panchero on Twitter.
You do tremendous work. You've got several podcasts. You're becoming a bit of a mogul. I do recommend that people check out your work. I want you to stick around, though, as we are going to do something quite special. We've got a chap called Bobby in the background. A lot of people don't believe that he exists. He is the Sheffield United way Stig, and he is in Scotland with the world's worst internet at the moment. So we thought this was the perfect time to bring him onto a live stream and finally prove to people not only that but Bobby exists, he also has a face, and he has more hair on his fringe than Nick and I and you, Andrew, have combined. So shall we now introduce... For the very first time, I'm nervous as well, and I know him personally. Shall we now introduce for the very first time? I'm going to get a thumbs up agreement first. Bobby, are you happy for me to do this?
Bobby can let himself in. Bobby can let himself in.
All right, fine. Bobby, you got key. You're old enough now. Let yourself in.
Oh,
he exists.
I'm here. I exist.
He is
I'm
risen.
not Lord. I don't support Sheffield United, but I'm here.
Bobby, say that bit.
I thought I'd expose myself early. Because there's going to be questions. I thought I'd expose myself early, but yeah.
Don't expose yourself. Don't say these things. This is why you're in the background.
Okay. Yes, Sheffield United get it. Yeah.
It's better, Bobby.
I think that Bobby's become a Sheffield United fan this season, though.
I think you lot have converted me.
I'm glad you said that rather than
you've done a good job. You've done a good job. Let's put it out.
Yeah, well, if there was any season to fall in love with the Blades.
Yeah, I know. Bit stinky.
Tell you what. Yeah. My nephew's completely lost interest. We've lost him to the dark side. So we feel like I've lost my nephew, but I've gained a Bobby.
Yes, we love to gain Bobbies.
Sounds a bit weird. Bobby, one of the things I wanted to say while we've got you on here, and I don't really know why we've kept Andrew for this. I probably regretted that decision. Bobby, I did want to say thank you for all that you've done for the channel. You've been incredible. All the graphics you see on social media, all the comments that pop up on screen, all the things that go wrong, that's all down to Bobby. So, Bobby, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for letting me, be on the channel and whatnot. I've really enjoyed it this season. Hopefully, next season with Big Slav, as we're calling him. Hopefully next season it can be even better. Start winning games and stuff like that. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Up the Blades, Bobby. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on. Yeah, cheers.
Well, we will say now thanks to all our guests who joined us. We are not shutting down during the off-season. Keep an eye on the channel for Euros watch-alongs with Bobby in the background, more player interviews and transfer rumours. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Make sure before you leave, like and subscribe, because apparently we're not getting enough likes. So make sure you like and subscribe before you go, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.